Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is a general all signs reading for the start of the new year. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's New Year tomorrow, and that will be the 23rd, I believe. No, the 22nd. 22nd of December. That's the day after the solstice this year. So, you know, we've passed the tipping point. So that's what we're pulling on here. You know, it's the big tipping point, the two big tipping points of the year, and we will have passed one of them 24 hours from when I'm doing this reading. So it's a brand new start. Brand new start. And like most things, it starts small. It's very interesting about the increase and decrease in light. Obviously, it must be different in different bits of the globe. I find all that a little bit confusing. To tell you the truth, I'm not a stupid woman, but I do get caught up on some things. And it's not a steady change from solstice, say, to equinox. It's not a steady change, and then to the next solstice, winter, equinox, summer, equinox. That's how it goes. And around it, I think just before the equinox, in the sort of few weeks before the equinox, it really speeds up. The whole thing really speeds up. It must be something to do with the curvature of the earth or something. I really don't understand it. But the light doesn't increase after the winter solstice in equal increments every day. It's something like mad, like 10 seconds extra the day after the solstice. And then, you know, it builds itself up slowly, but it's not a steady build. It's very interesting. So we're starting off small, okay, with this change. It's not a tower change. It's it's a very discreet change, okay? So that's what we're pulling on. Like I said, all signs. Ancient Italian tarot, major arcana thereof, Rider-Waite, major arcana. This is the minor arcana of the Rider-Waite split into its suits. So I'm going to pull 3 from here to get the kind of big like picture of what we're looking at. And then I'm going to clarify each of the 3 major arcana from the ancient Italian with 1 from each suit of the minor arcana to dig into the energy a little bit. So let's go. Everything's shuffled. I'm just going to give it one more little go. Somebody on my Facebook, because I posted about it, I was going on about the difference between light and dark and how they're not just like exact or simple or crude opposites, but they have very, very different natures. The darkness is the absence of light, but light is not the absence of darkness. Darkness cannot outdo light. Darkness is only perceptible, for want of a better word, when the light has withdrawn, or, you know, where conditions have changed, wherein the light source is blocked. That's night time, okay, when it's dark. As soon as the obscuration, the object, starts to shift out of the way and the light comes back, the darkness doesn't stand a chance, mate. It's got no active power of its own. All the active power is with the light. So you've got light source and objects blocking off light source. That's it. That's all you've got. Those are the only kind of active principles. Darkness is not an active principle. And yet it is the source, I guess, if that's the right word, because that would suggest a discrete like object or a particular place or something. It's the I can't think of a better word because there isn't one, because then we're into like Vedic stuff and like full-on spiritual stuff. It is the okay, it's the infinite vessel of potential, the great womb that has really no limits. So that's what we're in the middle of at the moment, the great womb. So we're having a little look at what's going to come out. Okay, what's being born? What is in the process? The year, as I do this reading, is in the last advanced stages of labor. Okay. And this time tomorrow, the old one will be gone and the new one will be there. And what was a woman will have become a mother. What babe is being born into existence this night? Let's have a look. Okay. Sorry, one last shuffle. I've just got to do it. I've got to do it the way I've got to do it. And I'm not looking at what's on the bottom. I do just want to say, when I was shuffling this minor arcana here, every so often I looked at the packs to make sure I knew which suit was which, because I have them out in a certain order on the table. And both times I checked this pile, I just looked briefly at the bottom card. And the first time I looked briefly just to check the suit, and the Ace of Pentacles was there, because this is the Pentacle pile, if I've got it right. And so I thought, right, and I shoved that back in the middle of the deck because I really don't want to know at all what I'm pulling. And for me, if I see a card that's definitely not going to come up in the reading, like the card at the bottom of the pack, it kind of skews the reading for me. So I shoved it back into the middle of the deck and gave it another shuffle. And I was in another room, and then I brought it all in here to lay it all out. And again, I wasn't sure which pile was which suit. So I checked again. And I had shuffled from putting the Ace of Pentacles back in the middle of the pack, and you've guessed it, turned it over, bottom card, Ace of Pentacles again. So that to me shows that I'm on the right track reading on this, because the Ace of Pentacles is the birth of a new kind of power trading entity, which is what we all are, if we did but know it. Right, I really am going to stop yakking now. That's what we're doing all the time, trading power. And there are all sorts of power. And that's what the Pentacle suit is about. Right, let's go. 3 major arcana. Okay, we've got the World in reverse. Oof. That's quite a juicy card to come into this reading with, because it's all about the closing out and the ending of cycles and the starting of the birthing of a new world. And we get the World in reverse. Okie doke. We got the High Priestess in reverse. Happy days. Oh my God. We got the Star in reverse. Well, honestly, the pack shuffled. It's higgledy-piggledy, upright and reverse. And this is what we've pulled. Nice. Oh, flipping heck. Dear viewer, dear listener, shall I just like end it now? Just go, okay, bye. Oh my Lord. Right, this first position is like the 3D energy. Okay, and that's the only mitigating thing I can say about having pulled the World in reverse here. This is the 3D energy. This is things as they appear in a kind of normal snapshot view. This second card is what is acting on the situation unseen. Okay, there's always unseen stuff. There's always stuff that we are not aware of that is playing into how things unfold for us. Yeah, there's stuff going on with other people. There's like forces that are beyond our control. Like, I don't know, interest rates or shit, you know, inflation. You know, we're not in full charge of everything. And we get a little look here in this second position at what's going on in that hidden energy. And don't forget where the situations and the kind of, you know, overall setup for other people plays into how things work out for us. We also are other people. So we are playing into other people's lives in ways that we can't possibly imagine. You know, it's all dynamic and everything kind of popping up out of that infinite womb of the potential. So we get a little look like behind the curtain here, behind the karmic curtain, And as I'm saying that, I see that curtain behind her. This reversal is not about the curtain falling down or the curtain hiding something or something being blocked from our view. This is about getting a look round the back. All right. Oh, this reading's turning out a bit better than I thought it was. But I'm afraid, I mean, this is the 5D energy. This is the big picture. Okay. And we got the star in reverse. So I'm going to have to work quite hard to make that. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that at the moment. So I'm going to start clarifying on this world in reverse. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like just another day somehow. As I said, the change that takes place at solstice is kind of hidden. And this is the hidden energy here. It's this, somebody was posting saying that somebody posted on my Facebook saying it's at 4:44 on the 20 p.m. on the 22nd or something like that. And he said, but I don't know whether that's the beginning or the end of the solstice. And it's like, well, no, that's the one tiny point of time at which there is complete stasis, where the pivot of the like central round, oh God, the hub that the earth kind of spins around within itself, that tilt in the orientation of that does come to a point of stoppage. And it probably lasts about, I don't know, a millionth of a second or something before it starts going back. I don't know how long it lasts. It would be quite interesting, but certainly not minutes or hours. Just this one moment. How do you calibrate? How do you calculate down to one single tiny moment of that solstice where it's gone as far as it can go and it stops imperceptibly for that minuscule, that minute amount of time? So it's easy to miss. No shit. Because I stuck it back in, you see. When I saw it the second time, I stuck it back in. And I didn't just stick it back in the middle. I stuck it back in the middle, and then I shuffled again this deck several times. I did, I promise. And there it is again. Unbelievable. Well, even if we don't notice it, even if it feels like just another day, some new opportunity for power trading. And this is what I was talking about. That's what we're all doing. We are trading our energy, our attention, our commitment, our presence, our physical energy, our knowledge, everything we've learned. We're trading all that with the world all the time. And they're trading those with us. And it's something brand new comes in, well, obs, because it's a solstice. So no matter how kind of boring things might seem, and like Groundhog Day, that's what it is, the world in reverse. That's how it looks, but it's not the case. It's like one little star, okay? One little star. And it's about our movement in relation to that little star, because a star is a sun. Perhaps, and the first thing I did think about this star in reverse here in this 5D was that the kind of faith that one must feel to be out there like that. And this follows the tower, where everything that we thought was real and just normal and just the way it is has suddenly been pulled out from under us through some utterly like unbidden force. conflagration of circumstances, place and time. Boom, it's all gone. And then we have this kind of post-traumatic euphoria. And it moves us forward very quietly, like just putting one foot in front of the other in good faith. It's about having good faith. Having lost everything, this is actually a really, really good response. And what we see with those vessels and that flowing water there, or that body of water, is that everything is cyclical. But it's in the reverse. And perhaps the faith, like inherent in this kind of snapshot of change. That's what the tarot is the oracle of change. Perhaps the faith is not so much required, because this is really strong. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay. We've got the 10 of Wands. Yeah, tired of the status quo. Things have built up, and like what we're having to do, or what we've like accrued as kind of action in the world. This is power trading. This is taking action and making shit happen in the world. There's a lot on us at the moment, and there's tiredness. Yeah, maybe you're juggling a load of like little like side hustle jobs. I mean, they call it a side hustle, but it's pretty much all there is these days, isn't it? It's just this like patchwork of side hustles. And it's hard. It's a lot to carry. So there's weariness here, not wariness. It might come up, but it's weariness, tiredness, but just kind of keeping on. But it might be starting to grate a little bit. It's great to be able to carry all that, but when you're carrying that can, whatever it is, like just ongoingly, get a bit wore out after a while. 7 of Swords, well, maybe all of this weight that's being carried here in the 10 of Wands, some sort of pragmatically judicious sleight of hand has been, and that might not even, well, I was going to say it might not be kind of with ill intent, but I think it probably is, to place this burden here. And when things are set in motion in this kind of secretive, kind of occult energy, and that's what occult means, hidden from view. When things are set in motion with this kind of motivation, with this kind of energy, they're never fair. It's never fair. It's never fair when it's like that. And I did say carrying the can, didn't I? Whatever can you're carrying. And, that generally comes with the idea that you're basically taking responsibility for stuff that isn't yours to take responsibility for. If I can end a sentence with a preposition. Goes against the grain, but there we go. Something's been placed on us here in the 10 of Wands, 10 of Wards, 10 of Swords. Oh, sorry. This 7 of Swords energy has placed unfair and unjust and kind of dishonestly perpetuated burdens on us. And that shit can't last, man. It can't last. Because when you realize you're carrying all this and you think you're being noble, when you realize that there's just like definitely a proportion of it that you shouldn't be carrying because it's not your shit, and that you've been duped into carrying it, man, it don't take much to like just like flipping let go of them, does it? Let go of a few of them. Let them drop to the bloody ground. Let mate here carry them. Your shit, you carry it. Look at that. 10 of Cups. Right, carry your own shit. You're much more likely to get to the end of the rainbow. But it's a very subtle business, isn't it? Very, very subtle. These two cards here, the 10 of Wands and the 7 of Swords, are why the world is in reverse. They are. Because, I mean, what's... No, no, no. I'm not going to get too, like, hypothetical about this. But, I mean, this pentacle and this cup, this 10 of Cups here is absolutely beautiful. We've pulled two tens. It's absolutely beautiful. The 10 of Cups here, I think, is a kind of nonetheless, a kind of anyway energy, like happy anyway. You're welcome. It's a happy anyway card. And there's great freedom in this. You know, if you're not contingent upon like external circumstances for your happiness, and definitely not contingent upon other people for your happiness, if you've got a brand new pentacle to trade in the world, and you and it's yours, it's really yours. It's not someone else's can, and it's not even a can in and of itself. It's a flipping gem, mate. It's dinari. It's lovely. Look at that. Look at that. Wealth, the very Shakti, the very spirit of wealth here. And when you've got that, and you're not dependent on somebody else, you know, it is possible to basically, I mean, the world becomes your rainbow, and you're always like walking under it because you're not dependent, you're not tied. And you're not. I see it going the other way, that someone has tied themselves to you and is kind of covertly, through their words, basically, covertly getting you to carry the can for them. And that's why, as I say, it's world in reverse. But do remember, this is the 3D energy. So, you know, this has a great compensatory feel to it, this 10 of Cups. But all it takes to reverse this world by kind of neutralizing the energy that's here, especially here in the 7 of Swords, it's naughty. You know, someone's being naughty. And I got the feeling earlier when I was talking about this that they've been doing this shit for so long that it's kind of invaded their whole kind of, they don't realize they're doing it anymore. There's codependence here. Because when we take up the slack for other people, they kind of forget that it's their can to carry, and the thing just perpetuates. And, you know, in codependent situations, you've got to look at where this person's struggling under this like unfair burden of the 10 of Wands. You know, what their part in it is. Why go on carrying the can for somebody else when they've been handing it to you for so long that they've even bloody forgotten themselves that it's theirs? Why would you do that? Codependent things, very, very subtle. There's always a payoff for the one who looks like they're being used. There's always a payoff. You know, and they fear the end of that connection just as much, if not more, than this person who is just basically handing all their stuff over to this person to carry. As I say, it's been, you know, it's so thorough that they, you know, they lie to themselves about it successfully, if I may. Anyway, I'm not going to blurb on about codependent relationships. So I wonder if there's something a bit Pollyanna about this. A bit sort of, oh, it's all fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. He's not fine. This is not fine, especially this, as I say. You know, I definitely see a kind of a two-party thing going on here. This is codependence. Okay. And I get the feeling like this Ace of Pentacles here is very kind of in the background. It's not at the forefront of our mind in this 3D energy. We're just like keeping going, keeping going, keeping going, kind of being used here and sort of Pollyannaing it, making the best of it, maybe, and doing a good job. By the sound, just like this energy is doing a good job of accidentally on purpose forgetting that that they're kind of basically taking a piss out of someone here. While all that is going on, all that work is going on, this is just like floating there. It's just floating there. And we're not really seeing it for what it is, and we're definitely not grasping it and going through that gate in the background up to the town to trade, mate. It's just there, like quietly, like glinting away. And every so often while we're busy with this, something catches our eye and we look and then we kind of don't see it. It goes all cloudy again. So yeah, world in reverse. That's why. So 3D energy, right. Oh, putting it off. High priestess in reverse. Well, oh man, you see, I think what's fueling this is a kind of benign trauma response mindset. Okay. And when I say benign trauma response mindset, because it's not just about the mind, it's about the body as well. But like trauma can be responded to depending on the type of trauma and the person on whom the trauma is visited, or the entity on which the trauma is visited in the tower, if I may. Depending on multiplicity of factors, external and internal, trauma is kind of responded to and digested in different ways, obviously. But it's basically you either kind of are able to or decide to engage with the trauma, engage with the pain, engage with the shock, engage with the gut wrench, engage with the fear and the memory of the fear, and engage with the fear that it could happen again, and just like be in connection with the trauma with a view to understanding it and learning from it. Or if the person is not able to do that, and you know, it's a very fine line sometimes. But you know, if the trauma is too great and the entity on which trauma has been visited is too weak, and I don't mean that as a judgment, just as a like opposite of strong. You know, there isn't a clear-cut moral kind of gradation of good to bad in connection with weakness and strength. So if the trauma is too big and the person is too weak, you know, it can tip people into an unconscious trauma response, whereby they construct pretty lumpen and often quite toxic, or sometimes very toxic, kind of coping strategies in order to protect themselves from the pain, the shock, the gut wrench, the fear, all of it. And you know, it's a very, very sad business. And what I'm seeing here, there is an upshot to this ramble, all right? What I'm seeing here is depersonalization. Okay, and that's why it's possible for this codependence to go on. When somebody is in full possession of the fact that they are them, okay? And that they know they're them. And there's an infinity of potential in them. And that in a sense, their life is laid out before them because of who and what they are. And it's written in that book. This is selfhood. This is conscious selfhood. Very early, card number 2 after the magician. Card 0, the fool, I am. Card 1, the magician, therefore I can. Card number 2, the high priestess, I am me. Only I am me. No one else is me. This is selfhood and self-possession in a very, very deep-rooted way. Awareness of being who and what we are, or definitely who we are, that we are an entity. It's in the reverse. So this is depersonalization. This is being cut off from the full range, or being limited rather in the range of internal experiences we are able to experience through depersonalization. It's naughty, this stuff that's gone on here. It really is, because it's, you know, that in itself is a weakness, that limited scope in terms of what we allow ourselves to engage with in our own minds and in our own hearts. Anyway, that's what I'm saying now. Depersonalization. Let's draw on it. Definitely a weakness. 2 of Pentacles. Yeah. This depersonalization has sort of turned us into like the sort of donkey with 2 heads or something. What's that? Is that some like film or some cartoon or something, or some children's story where there's some, like, I think it's a donkey or a mule maybe, like wanting to go this way and that way, and then going, oh, you'd be better over there. Oh, you'd be better over there. This depersonalization and this drainage here and this effort to keep this going. This is what we need to look at here, and this is what we're going to look at. Why? I mean, okay, you can see why this carries on, because of depersonalization, but people don't get depersonalized through anything but trauma. Yeah, even though trauma in terms of illness, you know, some cerebral illnesses can lead to loss of identity. But it's turned us into like serial doubters. Okay, which way do we go? Where's the grass greener? You go, oh, and just as you're going over the fence, you turn back. And it's like, oh shit, no, look, it's greener over there. And so there's a kind of, it's not spinning wheels, but it's just this sort of very inefficient zigzag. That's why I'm getting off this, because we don't have the clear direction. We don't have the clear direction. I mean, look, there's nothing depersonalized about her, is there? Flipping heck. She knows who and what she is. She knows how she got there. She knows what she's doing, and she knows where she's going. And she's good with it. Bloody good thing too, because this follows the tower, as I say. But because the core is missing, because this is not being seen, as I said, there's nothing decisive. Yeah, we're just like, maybe there's nothing like strong in the middle. It's like a sort of malign, or yeah, like a malign shushumna, the shushumna being the central channel in yoga, like the central energy channel running down. You got your nadi, you got you've got your ida and your pingala, the 2 main channels on the right hand side and the left hand side of the body. I can never remember which one's which. And then running down the middle in the spine, you've got the central channel, the sushumna. And you know, what is worked towards in meditation is the abiding in the infinite space of the Sushumna, okay? But this is like a malignant emptiness in the Sushumna. Not malignant, but just kind of not productive, because there's no core. It's not this is what I want, this is where I'm going, and you know, that's kind of it. And it doesn't even need to be kind of like defended or pushed, you know, and if you don't like it, fuck off. No, you don't even need to do any of that when you're clear about where you're going. There's a drainage of energy here. Indecisiveness. Knight of Wands. Yeah, no, so this is this sort of like, da, 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 oh, what's that over there? Oh, da, 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 hold on a minute. What was that? Back over there. Oh, da, 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 da. That's what this is. It's just this endless like announcement of kind of this heralding of stuff, shit that's never gonna fucking happen, basically. All right. And maybe this is how this Seven of Swords energy is able to like operate. Maybe that's how. And sort of doubt, like terminal fucking doubt here today in this reading of the with the Two of Pentacles. And it's just distraction, distraction, distraction. Wow. That's one way that abusive people like keep people like stuck in things. It's not just about making them believe like stuff that isn't true, like gaslighting, basically making them believe that they can't trust their own perceptions, right? That's what gaslighting is. It's not just that. You can just distract people with flipping word salad and just like endless, like jumping around and changing and like people, like wrong footing people all the time. And you know, people who are not stable, who are like, whoa, what's that? Like, oh, whoa, it's all the energy like jumping around all over the place. That's what I'm getting here. Can't think clearly. It's a way it's like scrambling. It's just like scrambling the head here. Oh man. Right, let's move on. Four of Swords. Yeah, and all the while, hiding away, hiding away, never like opening up, always out of reach, just out of reach, like clarity on this. And this like head spinny stuff here, after a while, you go into a fucking trance, don't you? And you see it in people who are being like, who are under coercive control. They're in a bloody trance. And what's actually going on in the mind, this sword here, this Ace of Swords that is under the stone, like flipping sarcophagus, this brings to mind the scene out of Romeo and Juliet at the end, where he comes to find her because he's heard that she's dead. And he goes to find her in the tomb. Spoiler alert, by the way. He goes to find her in the tomb and she's lying there. And he's like, oh, shit, you're dead. And poison. What was it? Poison? Yeah. Yeah. And then he stabs himself or something. She wakes up and drinks poison. I can't remember. But anyway, sorry to go on about that. But it's like some absence of clarity, as you can hear. Imagine that, getting Romeo and Juliet mixed up. I'm trying to use it as a metaphor. Never mind. Look, there's that Ace of Swords, really clear, nice and straight, but it's buried under that stone and suspended over this like comatose like entity here, lying here, the knight lying there, are the Three of Swords. You see the Three of Swords, it's that heartbreak, emotional pain. So part of the way that this Seven of Swords is operating is to keep clear expression of what's going on, both inside the perpetrator of this, if I may, and the victim, if I may, but you know, codependency is way more complex and subtle than that. On both parts, there is no access to a clarity of expression here. And it is just out of reach because we can see in that stained glass window, it's really sunny outside and there's beautiful color out there. And then we're in this like sepia, monochrome kind of energy here. It's all shut down. And the King of Cups. Okay. What came to me immediately, because I find the King of Cups sometimes a little bit like, not charismatic, what would the word be? Puzzling. What came to my mind was that there is one person in this setup, one of you, in whatever this is, whether it's a work situation or a relationship situation or something in your family or whatever, one of you is in charge of themselves emotionally. One of you. Now, I don't know which one it is, but that's all it takes, you know, is for one person in a toxic or kind of unhappy, unfair situation here. It takes one person taking charge of themselves and becoming fully like cognizant, I think is the word, and fully aware and fully, this is being able to access the full gamut of emotions. This. But there's only one side of this codependent thing that actually has the capacity to to bring it to an end, to see through it, through encountering what's going on for them emotionally. This is emotional intelligence, and this is kind of having the truth of one's emotions as an active currency in one's life and in one's dealings. But I keep coming back to that. There is only one person. There is only one side of this little, like, nasty little mechanism here that has what it takes to take charge of themselves in that way. And, you know, when one side of an abusive relationship, and I know that's very dramatic language to be using, or an unequal, I can like tone it down a little bit. When only one side of that kind of wakes up to it, you know, it's ideally what you want is the person who's profiting the most from an unequal situation to grow a bloody conscience. That's ideally what you want. But the thing is, as long as they are able to go on making somebody else carry the can for them, that's never going to happen. Because, you know, if they had the kind of conscience that would sort of, they'd say to themselves, oh, it's a bit unfair of me to be palming all this off onto somebody else. Maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. I'm going to stop doing that and take full responsibility for my emotion. You know, yes, it means I'm not going to get treated in the way to which I have become accustomed, but, you know, it's all for the greater good, and I'm going to grow a conscience. That never fucking happens. I was quite enjoying doing that, actually, because it reminded me a bit of my father. That's a bit how he used to talk, but not as quickly. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, it's a way of remembering him. It's usually the person in the 10 of Wands, okay, side of this codependency here, who has kind of had enough. It's usually them who has the capacity to become fully awake, and so fully awake that there's nothing even that needs to be kind of stuffed or hidden away, or it's all there, the full range. And that might sound sort of rather wild, and like there's going to be some like wild emotion being chucked around, but no. When you're not hiding anything inside yourself in terms of your own emotional like structures, when everything is known to you and you know what it is, you know why it's there, you know how it got there, you know what it's about, you know how it manifests in your life, you've seen the patterns of it in your life. When you're that conversant with it, you know, the emotional expression is calm, because you're not trying to hide anything, and you're not like stressed out that someone's going to like suss out the hidden bits that you've pushed away because you don't want to look at them. When you're not afraid to look at yourself like this here in the King of Cups, when you have that authority emotionally over yourself, things become very calm. I mean, there might be some shit that needs to be said like one time, and you know, it might not lead to this, with you know, shifting from this to this. It takes this, it takes emotional like self-possession here, right? Again, putting it off. Oh, star in reverse. I'm just going to put them all out because I really don't know what that could mean. So this might take a little while. How lovely, ending with the Knight of Cups. How absolutely lovely. This is having it to, this is not just having it to give because you got the happily ever after in the Ten of Cups, and you're like replete with emotional wealth and capacity in the Nine of Cups. This is actually getting on your horse and taking your cup out to the world on behalf of the king. This knight knows where he's going. He knows what's in that cup. His boss put it in there, right? He knows it's good. And he's moving at the right pace towards the right destination with the right thing in his right hand. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So how do we get there from here? Another two. I mean, this is right, and two kings. Had two knights, two tens. Okay. I think that's the majority of the patterns. Ah, this seems to me more like wishing. This is more like a wishing energy. I mean, the Six of, which is, I guess, why this is in reverse. The Six of Pentacles is about fair exchange and doing sort of like, I was going to say honest business in the world. And the sort of, this is trading in the spirit of generosity. Because I mean, the only thing that the merchant who's like dispensing the charity to the poor, the only thing he has to get out of it is that everyone can see him doing it because he's out in the town square, like all dressed up in his red cloak and that. So he wants it to be seen, but that's all he's getting out of it. It's just a PR stunt for him. So, you know, it's easy to do for him. But for them, you know, it means a lot. It means they'll eat in the next like 12 hours. So there's it's a lovely, lovely thing to do here. And this, oh God, what I'm getting off this, I've never had this before with this card, is virtue is its own reward. But I get here in this column that it is, it's a wish rather than a certainty. I mean, there's a certainty in the stars, certainly a certainty of sort of like the orientation of things and about the, you know, the conviction that one is heading in the right direction. So this seems more like a kind of fuzzy bit on the map where fairness and generosity of spirit should be, but kind of isn't. Okay, well, listen, straight away, what I'm getting off this is that sounded like a really bad edit, didn't it? But it's real. It is in the giving that all this kind of access to the 360 paradigm of what's happening for us emotionally, which is always developing, always changing. Certain like themes, but it's dynamic. This is what I'm saying. The access to that and the kind of the decoupling of the idea of this 10 of Cups from this codependent, like little like closed circuit shit going on here, and kind of naughty, the naughty aspect to it. I mean, people can fall into these situations of codependency, but it's usually this one who knows that the thing is unbalanced. This person comes to realize that the thing is unbalanced when they are absolutely knackered. And there might be a little voice that says to them, why the fuck does it keep happening like this? Why does this keep happening? And then in order to make sure that little voice doesn't get to sort of express itself more fully, you get all this distraction like energy over here, doubt and distraction, and just bloody keeping quiet about stuff. And making sure that through the doubt and the distraction, there is, as I say, no clarity of expression to be reached. And yet here, my God, the strength in this King of Cups today. This reading is about emotion, and I mean controlled emotion, not in the like blab in the farm emotion, like clear channels within the self emotionally, without all like kinks and blockages and stuff. It frees up like kindness and generosity. It frees up this generosity. But this King of Wands here, okay, well, there's hard work involved in this. There's hard work involved in this. I find, I'm sorry, I'm finding this very unsatisfactory. I'm so pissed off that this star is in reverse here, and I can't make this. I mean, this Knight of Cups here. I mean, okay, I suppose it is quite a powerful kind of step, and we see the stepping forward of the horse there. But my God, it's scant reward. Or compensation, rather. Maybe that was a Freudian slip. Maybe that was a Freudian slip. Because I was talking about like the just dispensation and kind of the generosity here and the balance here. Maybe in order to turn this star upright, we need to King of Cups, sorry, King of Wands here. Oh my God. Okay, we're moving from like struggling to hold these 10 at the end of the line with something in terms of our capacity. And we move through this kind of this distraction energy. This basically, these cards here, basically this 2, this Knight, and this 4 here are the kind of modus operandi of this entity being naughty in maintaining this unequal, unfair setup we've got here. These are the 3 cards that show how this is keeping going. And from here on, It's no use hoping that things will just kind of resolve themselves. Okay, I've got it. It's no use hoping that things will resolve themselves in this situation. They won't. This is the key card. Emotional self-possession in all its good, bad, and ugly emotion. You can't do shit with your anger, say, if it either like blurts out and breaks shit, or you sort of like walk around spiritual bypassing, pretending you haven't fucking got it. Nothing's going to change if you do that. You have to become like fully cognizant. And this Two of Swords, in order to sort of have any sort of stability, okay? And look, that stone like plinth there floating around on the bloody sea, well, it just strikes me. Hold on. Yeah, there are little pillars under it. It's actually fixed to the bottom today. I've never noticed those before. This Two of Swords is saying that no matter which way this whole business is sliced, the only way to move forward from this is through hard work and the courage to give. Hard work in the King of Wood. We take possession of the action in this like bigger 5D energy column here. Hope won't get us there. Only taking control of how we operate in the world here in the King of Wands will move us forward from this. So these two kings have like equal authority, but the area over which they have authority is obviously very different. This is emotional authority. This is karmic authority, action, how we manifest in the world, what we build, what we develop, what we construct. That's where it's at. That authority there. Never mind this like silliness of like, look over here, look over there, that are kind of distraction, like head spinny sort of thing of the Knight of Wands in this reading. This to me today, this Two of Swords is about non-judgment. This is the suspension of judgment, and bloody good thing too, because as I said, it takes two to keep this like stupid thing running here, this stupid drainage away. It takes two. It takes one to get on the horse and make a new move. But if we do that in a kind of judgmental way, and I do realize I have been pretty judgmental about this, I have. And I mean, we've all done it. You know, we've all kind of like embroidered a bit on there and like sliced a little bit off there and like over egged it a little bit there, you know, in order to sort of like make things go our way. We've all done it. We've all done it. That's why there's a card for it. Okay. But the more you can suspend judgment, not discernment, okay, because we see very clear discernment here in the King of Wands. But the more you can suspend judgment, which is when you look at somebody else and you go, I wouldn't do what you've done. I would do better. That's judgment. And it's super pernicious. Very sticky, spiky swords row in this reading today. Okay. I said that this Six of Pentacles was more like a wish, but I think it's, you know, that this would sort of like turn out to be fair. But I think what this is in combination, the Six of Pentacles in combination with the King of Wands here, is the decision that no matter how somebody else is behaving, and this is an element of this Two of Swords as well, no matter what they are doing, what counts is what we do. We can't make other people change. We can only change ourselves. And if we become like jaded and cynical because we're so tired and we miss this My God, I've barely talked about it. It really wanted to come out in this reading. Not seeing that because we're all like head spinny and sort of caught in this like little wheel here. No matter what, we will continue to be fair. And we will trade our power fairly in the world. And that there's an acknowledgement here that we and only we are in charge of our own lives. Perhaps that is what the person who carries all the wands for now gets out of this codependent thing. That's what we get is when we're in a codependent setup as the enabler, if you like. We get a situation whereby we don't actually really ever have to fully engage with our freedom and our authority in the world, our power. We're able to operate like on reduced power. And, you know, that sounds pretty bad when I put it like that, but operating on reduced power keeps us safe if we are sort of belabored with fear and anxiety and uncertainty and lack of confidence and blah, 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 blah. At least when we're in this situation, carrying all these wands, it's like, no, I can't think about what I would really like out of life because I'm so busy carrying these wands for you. The key to it is taking control of the situation. It's these two kings are the strongest cards on the table. And whatever you think of the situation, try not to judge. It's very hard not to judge, but try not to. And that's why all the religions tell you not to, because it's really hard not to. But it is so pernicious and so sort of corrosive. Try not to judge and know that what you give in good faith comes from here by order of the king. And man, this reading's got too long. I don't want to pull another card and like bore you half to death. This Knight of Cups links up with this Six of Pentacles here. No matter that the world is in reverse, the High Priestess is in reverse, and the Star is in reverse, exercise your own inner generosity of spirit. Trade fairly. Trade fairly. And give with a good heart. That that in itself, just doing this, Six of Pentacles, when this shit's going on, just being fair in a setting where there is unfairness fueling the mechanism, the simple act of being fair is enough to blow the whole fucking lid off it. I'm getting like foul-mouthed, so I'm going to stop now. So thank you so much for watching, dear viewer, dear listener, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.